Intel Core Ultra 7 268V Lunar Lake CPU benchmarks leak, up to 20% faster single-thread Uplift versus Meteor Lake. Benchmarks of Intel's upcoming Lunar Lake CPU, the Core Ultra 7 268V, have leaked out within Geekbench. Intel's Core Ultra 7 268V Lunar Lake CPU boasts impressive single-core performance at a 17 watts TDP, up to 20% faster than Meteor Lake flagship. The Intel Core Ultra 7 268V CPU is part of the upcoming Core Ultra 200V Lunar Lake family and will be one of the fastest SKUs, featuring up to 8 cores based on the Lion Cove P-Core and Sky Monte Core architectures. Starting with the specifications, there are 8 cores, 4P plus 4E, 8 threads, 12 MB of L3 cache, clocks rated at 3.30 GHz base, up to 5.0 GHz boost, and 32 GB of on-package LPDDR5x8533 memory. The chip will be equipped with an ARC 140V CPU with up to 2 cores clocked at 2.0 GHz, and the chip will have TDPs configured at 17 watts PL1 and 30 watts PL2. The CPU was tested on an Intel reference evaluation platform using the balanced power plan. The clock speeds ranged from 4.5 to 4.9 GHz, but don't see it hitting its maximum potential of 5.0 GHz. This is not a final retail SKU but rather an S-chip, so us can expect the final models to feature even better performance than what would be demonstrated here. Coming to the performance numbers, the Intel Core Ultra 7 268V Lunar Lake CPU scored 2,739 points in single-core and 10,036 points in multi-core tests. While the single-core performance sees a 20% improvement over the flagship Meteor Lake CPU, the Core Ultra 9 185H and matches that of the AMD Ryzen i9 365 Zen 5 CPU, also rated at up to 5.0 GHz. The multi-core score for this chip is still a bit far behind compared to AMD's last-gen Phoenix and Hawk Point parts. The fact is that Lunar Lake CPUs are rated at much lower TDPs, 17 watts versus the 28 watts plus TDPs of the Phoenix and Hawk Point CPUs tested here. Plus, if you factor in the early nature of this chip, can expect the multi-core score to come close to the Ultra 9 185H once final retail models ship. That would be superb given that Meteor Lake has doubled the cores, 16 versus 8. A few days ago, David Wong posted some performance metrics of the AMD Strix Point APU, the Ryzen i9 365, in Geekbench 6 tests. The performance was evaluated at 5 GHz and can compare how Zen 5 cores stack up against the Lunar Lake architecture in the following table. Overall, the Intel Lunar Lake Core Ultra 200V CPUs are looking like a decent option for the thin and light PC segment. Can't wait to see what kind of performance and efficiency the final silicon has to offer, since there are a lot of unique IPs embedded on this one chip. Expect more information in the coming months as we get closer to the September launch.